All right, hello everyone. Welcome. This is Dregn Durant of the YASUHIRO88, and I hope you're all ready for some science fiction D&D. We're running our Horizon Exploration campaign today, episode 14, about to get started, and the party is part way into their road trip as they had finally left the company of Banuk and the others and are heading towards what they hope is a thriving city, but more on that in a moment. We'll be doing a quick recap after we get our party in here and introduce everyone. So yeah, without further ado, let's do just that. Go ahead and get ourselves dropped down here. Oh, sorry, wrong button. Got a few of our party members in the chat there. Hello, Yee Haw, let's go. And with that, let's switch over to the campaign. Okay. Got here the audio. Let's just make sure that is looking good. That should be all right. We want it pretty subtle and low. And let's get our party members in here. Is everyone there?
Hello. Hello.
Sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
Yee Haw, it's not Thursday, buddy. We're not playing Hunt Showdown right now. All right.
Yee Haw has become my life.
Nice, nice. Space cowboy, literally. Multiverse space cowboy. All right. Well, let's get a quick round of introductions for our audience here, starting up at the top. Or maybe, you know what, just to switch it up, maybe we'll start from the bottom this time with Koji Akiyama, played by Corey.
I wasn't ready for this.
The twist.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm Corey. I'm playing Koji, the very angry barbarian lad.
Nice, nice. Next up, Daario Cortez from the bottom, played by Sergio.
Dregn. Hey, Dregn, hey everybody, and happy holiday weekend for those on the western seaboard. I am Daario Cortez, your ranger of the group.
Right on. Next up, in the middle here, Cadin Lumin, played by Calvin.
This feels the same to me. Anyways,
True.
The resident strange guy who hopefully doesn't become normal.
Oh damn, he's downgraded from mysterious to strange. All right, let's go.
Is that a downgrade? Fuck.
I don't know. Is it
My
strange?
counter doesn't go up today. That sucks.
Dang, dang. All right, and then we have Maxine Beck, played by Sean.
How's it going? I'm Sean. I'm also Asbiel. I'm playing Maxine, the Dust Patriot, the #1 marksman in all of Aurora Green.
Definitely our group. I'll give you that.
Silence. Sam Stonewill, last one of our party of 5, played by Peter.
Hey everyone, it's Peter. I play Sam Stonewill, the group's technician, and if anyone asks, I can drive, fly, and operate any vehicle.
Doubt.
If you question it, just be a passenger, we'll see.
Or he'll make you believe by shoving his wrench up your... All right. That was last time. You had to be there.
that was the late night version of this.
Exactly. All right. Well, with that is our party for the Horizon Exploration campaign. Let's switch over to a brief little recap of what the party had encountered last time on episode 13. So, the group, having left the company of Banuk and the other, the Banuk's little caravan roaming settlement, had decided to continue venturing southward in the direction of, towards their goal, a settlement that they believed was forming somewhere far to the south. The party, however, had a different idea. They believed that more could be done going after this individual who claims to be Ignis. A little bit of contention on who Ignis really is, but Ignis, residing in Ederson, is far to the northeast, and the party, I think, is led to believe a little bit that maybe Ignis is responsible for the creation or occurrences of the catastrophes. So they had requested from Banuk and the others some form of aid to let them head out and venture forward on their own if need be. And with their departure from Banuk and the others, they were granted a vehicle of their own, which looks a little something, again, AI artwork, deal with it, but looks something a little like this, a very kind of heavy-duty APC that has been fixed with some extra armor, but is otherwise a armored personnel transport that seats comfortably 7, has a little bit of trunk space, and comes in a variety of colors, but they have a very plain one, and had begun to venture northward as they head in the direction of the mountain range that was seen far to the north of where Banuk and the others had settled prior. I don't remember, but who had taken the wheel first? Was it Maxine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the drivers had been switching out as the day passed by. It seems like reaching Fontaine, one of the major cities to the north, that is the party's current destination, is going to take a little while to get to. And once they had reached the base of the mountains, I believe somebody had taken the driver's seat. I think it was Daario.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was them.
I believe Daario came next. Either that or it was Sam, because there was that abrupt braking moment.
Maxine first, then Sam, then Daario
It
at
was.
the end.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so Sam did take the wheel through the night, right? So the party had rested. Sam decided to stay up to continue driving. And then when Sam was getting tired, Daario took the wheel as Sam took a bit of a rest in the back, the party venturing forward the next day. Then, out in the distance as they were approaching the mountainside, and the lands here slightly changed from likely a past catastrophe. Unlike a traditional mountain range, this one was oddly, what's the word I used? Very, very jagged, very rigid, very, almost, I think the description I used was, it was almost as if somebody had taken their hand and rubbed their fingers across the lands up the mountain and kind of smoothed it out with these grooves and such. But Daario, beginning to wind around the mountains, we had seen the mountain range that had begin to shift a little bit as the mountain range continued to the northwest and began to lessen as they passed through this section of Aurora Green, before losing sight of the ocean that lied to their west. They then, within this range of hills and mountains, came across something up ahead, which was a bit of a settlement. There was a group of individuals up ahead, seeming to be located, camped out, settled next to a strange green obelisk, some kind of a mineral formation, a spike that jutted from the grounds. And in a couple of smaller groups, the party did stop nearby and approach them, and had met a few individuals who is believed to be kind of the ones in charge. One in particular, a Phil Grimm, who, after some information exchange, the group had also traded for some fuel from this group. And I believe your arrangement was Sam had created some water, and Daario had provided some of the blankets that they had acquired, quote unquote, from Banuk and the others prior to their split.
Finders keepers.
Finders
GM.
keepers, exactly. No one saw, it didn't happen. Those blankets may have never existed. But with a bit of trade, they greeted each other on good terms and are preparing to depart, seemingly again on good terms. There's a few others that were met there, but you guys can all check out the previous episode to see who those individuals are. But yes, the party is now regrouped at the vehicle. I believe you guys were in the midst of deciding whether to stay for the night. Phil was kind enough to offer that if you guys wish to camp here for the evening, you're welcome to. Or would you venture forward through the evening and the night, continuing northward in the direction of where you believe Fontaine to be?
I think we venture forward unless there's something someone else wants to do here.
I got nothing to do.
I don't like this place.
Because of the people?
Because of the
Before we leave, I want to try and see if there's like a piece of crystal we could take with us. Not a big piece, but a small piece.
Just a souvenir.
You're just looking around the ground to see if there's like
A shard
chunks
kind
of it or
thing, just-
something?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a perception roll. First roll of the night. Let's go. Oh, also, not sure why my screen didn't adjust, but let me go ahead and make one quick change.
Perception. I
There we
ain't
go.
too great at these, but we'll see. 14!
14 with a result of 16.
Oh, sorry, 16. Sorry, 16.
All right. Cadin, as you look about the area before completely departing, you don't see any glowing shards lying on the ground. You do obviously look over to where the large obelisk is and look around there to see if there's perhaps something that may catch your interest. From this distance, again, you guys did park near the camp, but not within it. But looking towards the obelisk, you do find that there are some areas around it on the grounds where it seems to glow a little bit green. You see kind of that color and wonder if perhaps there's a shard closer to the obelisk. But from where the vehicle currently stands, looking around, you don't manage to find any lying around.
So I'd have to go into the camp, basically.
You'd have to go basically near the obelisk to see if the green that you saw from this distance is what you're looking for or not.
I'll try in a second, but I'll let some other people do some stuff.
Koji's still kind of one arm carrying the fuel barrel, is trying to figure out how to actually refuel the car.
Oh,
Okay.
as bad as I am.
So, Koji, are you making a statement or are you trying to figure out how to fuel the car?
He's trying to figure out how to refuel the car.
Okay. Give me, let's start with a history roll to see what Koji...
Just a normal flat one.
Yep, flat history roll with whatever your proficiency may be.
That's
Yeah.
a 0.
Yeah. Koji.
How do they work?
incredible.
Oh, that's amazing.
Koji, why don't you tell everyone a little bit of why this is so appropriate for Koji? Your experience with vehicles and their maintenance, and a little bit about what we talked about last episode, where Koji doesn't drive.
Yeah.
He's really looking for the guy to fuel up the vehicles. What he's doing.
Pretty much. Koji always had people who would basically take care of the cars for him. He never had to get down and dirty. And refueling a vehicle, that's clearly beneath him. But Koji, with a history roll of 0, I'm going to have you give me an investigation with disadvantage.
I'm kind of hoping the same thing happens again. Ah.
Yeah, I was hoping for a 0, but it's an 8.
That's not too bad, because Koji, you looking around the vehicle, you see this is not a vehicle that you're overly familiar with, right? The vehicles that Koji would be familiar with are very much more luxurious or built for the city, whereas this currently looks like something that's a mixture of something you might see from a military faction in Mad Max or some crap, or something a bit more industrial / militaristic. Looking around, no, you're just confused. You're like, where the hell does this go? You're looking for some kind of maybe a location around under at the back of the vehicle where it's like this jug might just like socket in or something. You're not even sure what you're looking for, but yeah. Whoever will see Koji, will see him kind of making a couple of rounds around the vehicle, just again one arming with without really breaking a sweat, this, what did I say last time? Like 200-pound barrel drum that is partially filled of oil.
The funny part is the vehicle's electric. We just don't know it yet.
Who knows? It's Cadin
powered.
Cadin powered, but
Oh yeah.
Cadin for the group is kind of eyeballing the direction of the obelisk, taking kind of a couple of steps maybe towards it. But yeah, currently Koji and Cadin seem to be in thought, or yeah, in thought, probably the way to put it. But the rest of you, anything you'd like to do? If not, jump right in.
I'm gonna step out of. I don't know if I was in the vehicle yet.
I think you guys were mostly outside.
So I'm gonna catch up with Koji. Take a second to figure out what I'm gonna say to this man.
All right. Well, while you guys are thinking, Cadin, it sounded like you did want to go towards the obelisk.
Yes, I would if I get the chance. I would like to.
Cool. All right. While Maxine, you head out and approach where Koji is kind of just beginning to look a little frustrated, looking around the vehicle. You saw him kind of pass through the front as you were near the driver's seat and then make a second round. You're just like, what the hell is this guy doing? Daario, Sam, you guys will easily see Cadin just begin to stride towards the obelisk as Cadin, you get closer.
I see Cadin walking over. I'm gonna run, run or jog towards him. Hey, Cadin, what happened to my accent? Oi, Cadin.
Cadin, what are you doing to my voice? You changed it.
Oi, Cadin, what are you off to? We're gonna head out pretty soon.
I just wanted to go see if I could get a piece of that obelisk. It looks like there's some pieces, like small shards around the base.
Did you notice that? Did you? Oh wait, we gotta be sneaky though. This seems pretty important to them.
We're friendly. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. It's literally just on the ground there. I'm not taking the entire thing. I just want like a pebble.
And what do you want to do with it?
We were collecting samples of strange stuff. Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing here?
Not exactly. I mean, if we collected strange stuff, we'd be on this planet all our lives.
Why did we collect that mandible again?
Well, Maxine picked that up, right? If I remember correctly.
She's allowed to, and I'm not.
Well, she also takes pictures of weird shit. Look, if you want a crystal, I'll go with you. Let's just be careful. I don't want to upset these people as they are.
Why are you talking to me like a child?
You've been known to cause accidents, and I'd never know when you're gonna blow up.
One time, you've seen it one time. I just want to grab a rock, man.
I've known you for 2 days. That's 1 of 2 days.
Okay, that's a fair point.
All right, let's go.
Were you guys walking and talking, or...
Probably, yeah.
I don't think we need to stop for that conversation.
Yep. All right. Yeah, as you guys are casually talking, keeping an eye out, walking closer to the obelisk, you guys are called out to. Hey, why are you guys back?
Would we be able to... I see some small pieces of that green crystal there around the base of the... Could we grab just a small piece, like palm size? Good luck charm for the roads. Hopefully keep the storms away from us.
What is your... Give me your persuasion roll.
My persuasion or my persuasion roll?
Give me your persuasion roll.
Okay. +5. Come on. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Well,
12.
They kind of look back in confusion. Yeah, as long as you don't break it, I don't think that's an issue.
Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna go try and grab a piece.
All right. Now that you're closer, give me another perception roll as you look around for hopefully a piece of this stone.
Hey Sam, are you helping me look?
Yeah, I'll help him look.
All right, give me your own perception roll.
Okay, I was gonna say, ask before I roll, because that was a shit roll that
I like how you asked, and before waiting for the result, you still
I would
rolled.
stop rolling away, so I just would roll a second time if I had advantage or whatever you decided to do.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. But Cadin, as you look about, you see several rocks. Some of them somewhat translucent, kind of like marble-esque or like opal-esque, and it has a bit of a sheen to it. But when you wander about aimlessly, kind of looking and picking up some samples, you're not really sure if these rocks are the same material. They don't have this kind of deep green hue that this obelisk has. It's almost like a thick piece of emerald, whereas what you find on the ground definitely seems to be less, I guess, pure to your eyes. But Sam, on the other hand, as you look about, now that you're right up against this crystal, you have a pretty damn good idea. The technicians are known for their experience with mining, and Sam, you're not necessarily a miner, but through just education of technicians, this is not a stone that you've seen before. This is something certainly different. Seems to be almost vibrating in your observation. But as you also look around, seeing Cadin scrambling to find a shard, looking around, it's curious, because where normally you would find a type of mineral, there would likely be others nearby, whereas this doesn't seem to be the case here. It seems to be a solid formation that almost looks like it's sprouted, with the way the formation of the soil at the base is almost moved away. It doesn't look natural. It looks like it was almost formed or created or came out of the ground not even that long ago, maybe no more than 2-4 years ago. But looking around the ground, again, you're not spotting anything.
Are you telling me that I have the ability to tell how long rocks have existed, like trees?
No.
Sam can tell those rocks to be between 2 and 4 years old. I'll take that ability. It's canon now.
There you go.
I can tell how old rocks are.
There you go. You have a rough
Sam?
idea. You have a rough idea.
How many rings does the rock have, Sam?
Yeah.
2 to 4. I'm gonna pick up the rock. I'll blow some of the dust off, and I'll look over to Cadin. Oi, Cadin, what are you flopping around for? Is this what you're looking for?
Yeah.
It's a weird one. In all my travels, I've never seen anything like this.
Well, good thing we collected some then. It seems
Fascinating.
I'm gonna put my hand out. I kind of want to see this thing. Are you gonna give it?
I give it to him.
Sweet. Okay. I'm gonna look at it later, but we can go back to the car for now.
I watch his eyes. Does it glow?
Do they? I'm not doing anything, but
No, Cadin's eyes do not glow. Sam, what you handed to Cadin will probably do. But yeah, Cadin, as you look at it, it does seem to be a bit more green than the others. But yeah, you guys got this rock. And
On the way back, I'm like Cadin walk in front of me. I'm gonna grab a handful of dirt and just toss it at him. Does the dirt stick on his clothes?
what the hell?
handful of dirt, or like just powdered?
Powdered dirt. Maybe there's a small pebble rock in it. I don't know.
Sure.
Just whatever I grabbed out of my hand first.
Sure. Cadin, what's your dex modifier?
Not great. Actually not bad. +2.
+2? Okay. All right. Cadin, you walking away, and Sam, you grab a little bit of powdered dirt on the ground and kind of toss it loosely on his back. Cadin, I'm going to have you give me a perception roll with disadvantage, however.
Not good.
Yeah, no, you're too distracted with the stone
That one.
to really notice a light peppering of dust that hits your back. But Sam, as you look at the dust cloud kind of settle away and get a good look at Cadin's back, it's dirty.
I make a mental note that does not automatically clean itself.
Oh, my suit. Fuck you.
Noted. All right. You guys return back to the vehicle as Maxine, you and Koji are doing something.
Koji, you doing all right out here?
Oh, yeah, I got this. I'm Koji fucking Akiyama. I can do whatever I want.
Of course.
And he still has visibly no idea what he's doing.
Just getting your cardio in for the day, I assume.
Yeah, something like that.
Just start doing reps with the barrel.
Yeah,
I want to try like
and start squatting.
I want to try to just subtly bring attention to where the fuel is supposed to go. I don't want to like blatantly point it out, but I want to try to draw Koji's attention to it.
How are you doing this?
Like if there's like a door, you know, like a little hatch on the thing, I'm just gonna, you know, while you're doing your squats, maybe just kind of lean up against the vehicle and just quickly flick it open.
Well, like, unlike the common car where the gas is like covered by a flap that's like flush, I feel like on trucks and military vehicles, isn't there normally like...
It's a spout.
Yeah, like it's noticeable, right?
Depends on the vehicle. But what you guys will find on this one here, again, it's much like kind of a mixture between like a Humvee and an APC, is I think the description I used way back when. So there is going to be a slot towards the back that can be opened up. This one, again, is meant to be a bit more armored, so it does have a cover on it. And Maxine, you'll find it, you'll pop it open. There is a spout in there that you'll be able to use to more easily, quickly refuel. But Koji, as you're doing your squats, Maxine's standing there just kind of looking at you and pops open this object on the side of a vehicle towards the rear.
He'll like lean his head over. Is that how that works?
I just nod.
He'll stop doing squats and start to try and pour the fuel into the spout.
All right. Yep. You'll pop the top of the barrel, and ooh, this is going to be... I mean, you have pretty good finesse when it comes to your muscles, so I think you could probably do it slowly, but you pour it... I mean, you know how to pour liquid into a glass. You know, this is probably not much different, but yeah, Koji, you'll tilt the barrel. It's a bit more of a manual way of doing it than other options, but you'll pull it off. Yeah, you'll start to pour the fuel in, and after maybe a good, like 3 to 5 minutes of just trying to slow pour it so it doesn't make a huge mess, you'll see that it begins to kind of backfill up, and you quickly stop. And the car must be topped off at this point, as far as you think.
All right, I'll kind of put the barrel to the ground, and yeah, it looks like it's filled up.
Give a thumbs up, and I'm gonna start getting in the car, but just gonna say, you know, I still can't believe that, like, first meeting, you hurt Banuk's hand. You remember that? Like
Yeah. What about it?
It's just impressive, that's all.
He'll like flex a little bit. I'm a big guy.
Yeah, Koji fucking Akiyama.
Yeah, Koji fucking Akiyama. He gets this kind of like big grin on his face.
So kin.
All right, still kid. Oh man. All right, well, the party, you guys will all get back to the vehicle. Cadin, the further away you get from the obelisk, the less brilliantly green this rock that you're examining appears, but I don't know, it kind of looks green. Like this will probably do. It'll probably pass. Yeah, and Maxine, you get up to the driver's seat, it sounds like, and Koji, the barrel, what are you going to do with it? It's still about like a fifth full.
Maxine got back into the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
He'll kind of like lean over and I want to say like quietly shout, I guess. Hey, Maxine, what do you want me to do with this fuel barrel thing?
Sure, we could strap it to the outside maybe. I got some cord, or it probably wouldn't be a good idea to keep it in the vehicle.
So you don't want me to just like put it in the back? Sounds like the easiest option to me.
Could you ever huff anything before?
A couple of times.
We don't want to huff this, and that's what'll happen if it's in the car. It's not going to be a good time.
Oh, all right. So Koji will like pick it up again. And do you want to help me like strap it to the roof then?
Yeah, sure. I'll get back out, get my cable, and go about helping Koji strap down this this barrel.
Cool. All right. It'll take you a little bit of time to do that, but Sam and Cadin, as you guys return, you'll see them working on it. Daario, I assume if you see them doing something kind of more strenuous, that you jump in to help out. I think Daario's that type.
Yeah,
but...
yeah, definitely want to help out. Don't want to stand around.
Yeah. So Maxine and Koji, as you guys are talking about this, Daario nearby steps up and offers his helping hand as well. As Koji, you kind of just easily pivot the whole damn barrel on top, but Daario and Maxine help to kind of secure it and strap it down. And between the two of you, I'm going to have each of you give me a... God, what would it even be? I'm just going to have you both give me straight intelligence with advantage. So 2 rolls, both advantage between the two of you.
And this is for Daario and
Maxine.
Maxine, right?
Yep.
15 for Daario.
Cool. All right.
18.
And then Maxine with your 18, Daario with your 15. Maxine, you're going to use up your rope.
Yep.
Okay. So just mark it as used up as you use it to kind of make a few kind of crisscrosses and kind of create a makeshift net made out of rope, very loosely done, but with the kind of rings that are available on the roof of this vehicle, places that the rope can be fastened through and secured. You guys managed to make a pretty nice makeshift net using the rope. So we'll just say for simplicity, it just takes up the full 50 feet if that's what was left. And only for one of you, Daario, you can leave yours alone. But yes.
Well, they're doing that. Can I do something before we leave?
You don't need my permission.
I just want to try see if this rock affects my powers before we get too far away from the source.
Okay.
I'll try using my powers around the rock. I'll like try to produce like a little flame with precipitation while holding the rock and see what happens.
Nothing happens.
So it acts normally like nothing happens, or nothing happens at all?
If you're just trying to use prestidigitation to see if something happens, nothing happens. But if you're doing something more specific with prestidigitation, I need a little bit more detail.
So I could create a flame and like nothing else happened.
Okay. Yeah, you'll kind of use prestidigitation, and while you're holding this rock, kind of envelop it in a spark of flame that doesn't really cause any damage, doesn't really do much.
I draw my pistol at him. The fuck you doing?
Experiment?
Right now? You think that's the best time to do it?
Well, the rock's glowing less the farther we get away.
Wait, what do you mean glowing less? It's a rock.
It's glowing less. I show it to him again.
I look at it. Huh. Fascinating. Could you take out the fires?
Can I what? Sorry?
Could you remove the fires so I can see it closer?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I just like wave my hand like when you get something on your hand, you're trying to just like shake the water off your hand. I just really quickly shake my hand, the fire goes out.
You're strange. It's not as glowy. You're right. It looks almost like a regular rock now.
I think it's because we're getting farther away from the big one there. So I wanted to test it before we got too far away.
But does that mean that it's connected to the source, or is it responsive to something else in the area? I mean,
No idea.
we have tools that measure radiation. Maybe this is something like that.
I mean, you gotta look. I don't know if it's radiation.
Well, not radiation, but it could be reacting to something else.
I like how visible is it? Like if I walk towards the camp again, like not all the way to the camp, but in the camp's direction, does it start growing brighter?
Cadin, you hold the rock in front of you, bringing it kind of closer, kind of moving the rock around in front of you, above you, to try to see if it's like it's like holding a cell phone. You're trying to find a cell phone signal, is what you're doing with it.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you move it around, gosh, I hate giving you so many perception rolls, but I'm going to have you roll one more as you observe this rock.
I'm very good at looking for rocks, apparently, today.
Well, as you look at this one rock very closely, as you move it from position to position, it strikes you as odd as, you know, up ahead in the distance is this obelisk that has, again, this kind of a slightly glowing hue to it. And you move the rock to your right, holding it out, and the left side of the rock seems to glow a little bit. You move it to your left, and the left side of the right side, Jesus Christ, you hold it out to your right, the left side of the rock seems to glow. You hold it to your left, the right side seems to glow. You hold it in front of you, and it doesn't really seem to glow. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Here, Sam, catch it. Throw the rock.
I catch it.
As you throw it behind you, the side that is facing you seems to glow, but the lower it gets, once it reaches Sam, it doesn't seem to have any glow to it.
I walk towards Sam and like put my hand on the crystal.
You're fascinating. It almost seems like it's being drawn to the source, like it's reacting, like it's being pulled back.
Sam, actually, from your perspective, sorry, I should have probably explained this earlier. From your perspective, between the vehicle and where Cadin is standing, as he moves the rock side to side and above him, you don't really actually see a glow.
But when I'm holding it, do I see it?
It seems to be glowing in the direction of Cadin, yeah, a little bit.
In the direction of Cadin.
Yeah.
I hold the rock out and I walk around Cadin.
Nah, the glow disappears when you're between Cadin and the rock, like directly in front of Cadin, but as you circle around him and kind of hold it up and around, I don't know. It's looking more like kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for? We're not quite clear, but not quite, it's like murky. There's a term for it.
Opaque?
Opaque, thank you, that's the one. Yeah, it seems to have, a very kind of opaque, translucent, made of that type of material, but now that you're examining it further away, this doesn't really seem to have a glow to your eyes, Sam.
Huh.
Great, we found a Cadin compass.
I mean,
if I ever lose
it looks just like any other rock.
It seems to glow around me. Watch, I'll like wave my hand on the left side of the rock.
Doesn't do anything.
For them or for me, or in general?
In general.
Well,
Try
I think
using
you
my
best hold on to
powers
this.
Again. I'm gonna create another little flame in my left hand and wave it near the rock.
I throw a rock at his face.
Oh
my
son
God.
Of a bitch. You're like gun scared now.
It's still a rock, so give me. Oh gosh, you're so close to him too. But yeah, you're gonna give me an attack roll.
Is that just a strength check? What's an attack roll?
Strength or dexterity, depending on if you're gonna try to hurl it or if you're trying to be a bit more accurate. We'll put it
Oh
that
no,
way.
this is just hurling. I'm terrified.
Yeah, Sam's like, the more this goes on, I'm just like, Sam's just traumatized
19.
from that fire burst that happened. 19. Cadin, what's your AC? Pretty sure it's not 19.
12. All
right, this rock goes hurling in your direction, and Sam, give me a 1d4 roll.
D4, that's D8, D6. Here we go, D4, triangle looking thing.
Ah, feels
Oh,
bad.
3
Feels
plus
bad,
my
dude.
Strength.
Yeah.
My strength is +2.
Immediately, Cadin, Sam, just in a panic, chucks this rock in your direction, and it flies. You only have like a fraction of a second as you realize this thing's about to hit me in the face. You blink instinctively, and you take 5 points of damage as dunk, this thing smashes. Kind of.
What the fuck was that for?
Boy, on me prime. I'm sorry. I panicked. I just don't understand, and I'm trying, but this gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Well, get a rock in the face gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Well, you'll be fine. Let me see it real quick. And I give him a stim pack.
The rock? Yeah, sure.
Here we go.
Wait it.
Through?
I
Oh, cast spell. Here we
don't
go.
think it did.
Oh, and I gotta roll D8. Okay. Yeah.
And that
Probably.
does not
Little
seem
less
to be
swelling.
adding your modifier to it for whatever reason. You might have to go and edit and see if it's adding the modifier. But
Makes sense.
your wisdom modifier is what?
Wisdom mod is +2.
Okay, so actually that's perfect.
The amount of damage you did.
Yeah.
I'm still injured from something last game though. I forget what happened. I think I got hit by something else.
Yeah, you probably did
Oh,
something.
the freaking seatbelt.
I don't remember that.
The only damage I've taken is from you, Sam.
It makes well, build stronger bones. You know, they'll recover.
Man, imagine you play 2-3 nights of D&D, and you look back and you're like, wait a minute, I've only taken damage from my teammate. All right, well, you guys have a little bit of a scuffle, but the rest of you back at the vehicle are pretty much ready to go as the day continues to pass and the skies begin to darken.
When we get back to the vehicle, is anyone else mind driving? I drove last night and I'm still pretty tired.
I figure I'm probably driving first.
Yes, and I just drove in the last run, so.
I don't know how to drive.
So it's our options. Not Koji, not Cadin. It's Maxine, Daario, and myself.
I'm trying to teach you how to drive, but
Maxine, how do you feel? You ready for drive again?
Yeah, I figured that was plan.
All right. I'm gonna stand back. I'm gonna rest up if that's okay with you guys.
You get some rest, Sam.
I'll drink some more alcohol and then I'll go send it back.
I'll pick up the rock that hit me in the face before we leave and take it with me.
All right. Cadin, you look for the rock. You manage to find it pretty quickly. There's one in particular that is, again, resembles that very kind of opaque, but it was easy to spot with a little bit of a red stain on it now. And you all get back to the vehicle, collected, and get seated. So with, again, Maxine in the driver's seat, you guys go ahead and file up where you want to be in the car. Unpaused. There you go.
I think Sam's taking the back seats.
Yeah. Either
Well,
full back or second to back.
I think while people are getting sorted, I would like to disconnect from the Dynasty network. If I have some means to manually do that, I want to do that.
Yeah, you do have the
roll.
option to.
Puts his phone in airplane mode.
Exactly. You have like an offline mode or a power saver mode or whatever. And
Yeah. I am gonna get a picture of the crystal here before we leave. But otherwise, yeah, I want to disconnect from the Dynasty network, and then I'm just gonna be ready to drive when everyone else is.
Okay, noted.
Quick fact check. Where did they tie the oil can to?
Yeah, so for those that are approaching the vehicle, you'll see that there is a barrel that is now kind of strapped in with some rope on top of the vehicle, kind of
It's
laying
up top center
horizontally.
somewhere.
I would imagine it'd be towards either the front or the rear, because that way you can use the railings as a bit more support. But I don't know, Maxine, Koji,
All right.
you guys strapped it up. Where would you want it?
Probably further to the rear for
Mhm.
some balance.
Okay,
Some
Yeah.
junk in the trunk.
Yeah. It's about where Koji would have put it.
makes sense. All right, Maxine, you begin to roll out. You look over, and anyone who looks over to the little hillside here where the obelisk is, you'll see Phil out there, and some other people, as Phil in particular gives you guys a bit of a nod as you depart.
Just kind of lift a few fingers off of the wheel to kind of signal a little wave
Okay.
on the way.
Up ahead,
Uh,
continuing down the road, the evening gets darker, night continues, days pass by as you begin traversing into the mountain range to your west. Once again, the mountains kind of shift. The range is primarily visible as you are making your way northward on the east side, to your right. There is a bit of a valley that you guys all pass to reach the camp here, and the mountain range continues west side as the road that you are currently able to track seems to be traversing through the mountain range. There is going to be a few days that this road takes you through, and along the way you occasionally will find some what appear to be kind of abandoned settlements in the mountainside. I'm not really sure if anyone may maybe residing there. Now, rather than doing every single day on the road, I think we're going to do a little bit of a time jump here. But as you guys are driving through the mountainside, do we have any other questions that you guys would like to kind of prompt one another as part of the little road trip episodes?
I do.
Okay, let's hear it. As you guys, again, leaving the camp, it's going to be a few days on the road until you guys get to any particular site, but yeah.
At some point, probably pretty immediately, with Daario in the passenger seat there, I'm gonna speak up and just say, you make a lot of things. You don't remember if I asked this before. Is it just the robots and things, or do you make all of your kit?
For the most part, my drone, I assembled it from some parts and, made it to my liking. But for everything else, my own weapons, I procured them through my own experiences.
No. Making or Yeah, putting something together like your grit, your drone, that probably a lot of different kinds of technology go into that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, Maxine, I'd definitely say so, and definitely not, not a simple machine to make, and I've had to make some iterations off of it to get it to something that would make it useful for my things for reasons I've had to use it in the past. So it's, at least in this current version, it's definitely suitable for what I've needed it for.
And the sort of things that you have to figure out to make the whole thing operate as it does. Any reason you haven't extrapolated any of that out to gear up yourself a little bit better?
Well, I think for the most part, it's been more of a focus of what I'll say is this: my machine itself has been helpful for me and for a lot of the people that I've worked with back home in Sakata, and it's been more of a I've had to use it as a necessity for reasons I've needed to use it for, and so I haven't had much time to really think about myself other than to use it to get what I need.
Oh, you ever think about branching out and wanted to try putting something else together? I'm sure we could come up with some ideas.
I've seen in the shots that you take, I definitely believe with the right weapon, I know that you'll be able to do marvelous things with it. Albeit very dangerous things.
Just imagine if I had a better targeting system than my own hands. Or eyes, I suppose. I don't know. You mentioned this place you come from. Is it a nice place?
Yeah, Sakata. Yeah, it's definitely, a place that's always been my home, and very sad that I had to leave it, but I saw this opportunity to come and try to find some information that I needed. So it's very sad for me to leave, but
well,
it is home, and I think like all of us, it's a little hard to leave.
That goes without saying. But it is a killer opportunity. Do you, when you were coming up, do you get a lot of, I don't know, media? Movies, music, that sort of thing?
Like I would say, like any place, yeah. I definitely, like shows, movies. We have something called ice cream in Sakata that I enjoy on a daily basis. But yeah, normal life, normal things I would hope. At least, I would say for you, I wonder if it would be normal as well.
Things were normal for a while. Then normal changed, but you know how it is.
Yeah, I guess we're all living in the new normal now.
And my instinct was to ask Koji the same thing, but I mean, I think we all know Koji grew up in a nice place with all the movies, all the music. Is that about right, big guy?
What's up? Yeah.
Yeah? You ever hear about someone named Talia? Some sort of artist, probably dabbles in different things. But like one of those kind of eccentric types that just goes by a single name.
What does she do? Is she like a singer? Like a...
Sometimes.
I mean, can't really say that I have.
No.
She like popular?
I'm not sure. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
What kind of music is it?
You know, upbeat, poppy kind of stuff.
Ah, yeah. Not really into that kind of stuff.
I wouldn't have figured.
Wait, how do you know of this person but not know of this person?
Coming from you?
Well, I just don't know shit.
I knew her growing up. And she's local to Aurora Green. Got off before things got real bad. You know, went out into the stars to pursue the career, you know?
Oh, then I definitely don't know her.
Yeah, I figured.
Actually, was she from where you
That
from?
one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know her then.
What about you, Daario?
No, I don't know if I've ever heard of a Thalia before.
Doesn't ring any bells? Alright. No. So I'd ask, I was curious to see how that whole endeavor went. But, yeah, what I was talking about with the gear, I mean, I don't know how to make any of that work, but I've got the ideas of what would be useful. And I'm just thinking, you know, it's trying to get what I need from the Corp, you know, it's waiting lists and paperwork and all that. It's could ask for something crucial, not get it for 3 to 6 months, you know?
I agree. Well, I mean, if we have the parts along the way, we find some stuff, I'm sure, you know, you and I can look into seeing what we can make.
I can make you a few things, but it won't be anything tech-based. Like, if you need, like, a shirt or something, I got you one of those already.
We have our own tailor in the group, everybody. Most important skill, I think, of all of us.
That could come in handy.
But I had to fix my own stuff for a while there.
That's actually a good call, you know? Take a hit in battle every now and then. Eventually you're not going to have much shirt left.
Does anyone by chance happen to have a tear in their shirt? I'm gonna look around.
My shirt is brand new.
Ah, I gave it to you. After I fixed it, but no one saw it beforehand. I don't think it was shredded when I got it.
Koji's might be a little bit rough after the explosion.
Coach, you're in front of me. Actually, yeah. I'll show you guys. Watch this. So he'll hopefully nothing blows up. We'll see. He'll notice under his breath. Kind of make a small hand motion and place his hand on your shirt, on your shoulder, and one of the small holes will kind of seal up.
Huh.
Sam's snoring in the back. He's asleep.
So.
Koji being, we'll say it's like more kind of towards the sleeve so that Koji could actually see what happens. But when you're looking at it, as Cadin does this thing he does, you see that the strands of the fibers where some shrapnel maybe had torn part of your shirt, or if any of you maybe even got shot during the attack on the fellows at the cave, if you remember that. Well, Koji, your shirt, the stitches, the fabric starts to kind of grow and weave out, almost like reaching for one another as you see that hole kind of crisscross and slowly mend itself. Very kind of surreal to you.
Koji's gonna kind of look up at Cadin. You sure you're not a robot? Like, positive?
Yep, I'm sure no robot.
Alright. Let you get away with it for now.
You guys don't guess robots? I personally don't like them, but
Koji,
favorite things. Kind of fucking assholes most of the time.
All right, but you guys will spend a few times kind of in and out of chat with one another, talking about ideas, and Cadin sharing some of his powers for those of you who are awake to see it. Sam, you guys will have a couple of rotations swapping in and out of your seats, but on your third or fourth day, starting to kind of lose track going in the long distance of this road trip, you guys up ahead will spot again an abandoned, what appears to be abandoned, location.
Just real quick before we get there, in one of these trips, Sam would have been driving, and I think I would have stopped and picked up my supplies.
You absolutely would have, yes. Especially on the third day, Sam, if you guys are constantly on the road, which it's already happened once, Sam, you actually have been getting some notifications a couple times from Omni saying that, you are in motion, unable to reliably deliver package to our valued customer. Please ensure that you do find a place to receive the package within X number of days, which slowly begins to count down from 3, or else you will incur penalties. So one of the mornings, Sam, when you were driving, you'll stop early when you look, get a notification, and with that, you hear the little whoosh of something fly up above, and almost like a sonic boom, it snaps out of existence as a package falls, and you manage to pick it up, and you'll get the following notification from Omni that the grace period has been met. Thank you for being a valued customer. Your next package will arrive tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's a thing that can happen where if you're unable to pick it up, you got a 3-day leeway where they'll ship it to you when they identify that you're not in constant motion. All right, so yes, Sam, you will manage to get your supplies. Anyone who is awake while Sam is driving through the night and picks up his package the next morning will have spotted it very easily as well. But with that, the mountains up ahead begin to change a little bit, looking again much more natural the further away you get from where the prior kind of entryway was to this long mountain range. You're currently traveling a bit northwest from what you're able to gather, and as the mountain range begins to lessen, it feels as though you are starting to reach the crest, the peak of the road, and it seems like up ahead you'll be spending some time traversing down the mountain range to a large open field up ahead. However, currently, as you're making your way down, you will find the following up ahead. As along the road, there seems to be some sort of something that looks a bit scientific. Maybe a lab that had been stationed here some time ago. Maybe it's some kind of a high altitude like ranger camp. You're not really sure what it is. Cadin, you've obviously never seen anything like this before. Yep. Maxine, you can give me a history roll if you want to see if you had encountered anything like this before. And to the rest of you, being 4 and 2 Aurora Green, it's pretty damn new. All right.
It's 19.
With a roll of 19, Maxine, you have seen a site like this before. These sites actually were erected by AbsCorp years ago when the catastrophes had begun to become a thing. They sent out a large number of what is it? Science personnel, and Maxine as part of. Sorry, what? Researchers, sure. And Maxine, your detail back when you were in training were actually sent out on a couple of these missions to kind of do guard duty, scout duty, helping these scientists with their research, depending on the biome that they had landed in. Some of them closer to where catastrophe sites had been, many of them kind of just scattered about in preparation. You're aware that, you know, though inside you'll find a lot of kind of medical, like analytical type tools, you do also know that they had kept caches of, you know, food and supplies as well. Yeah, that's what these are. Remnants, which were in more recent years abandoned by AbsCorp, as Maxine you would know, because they started to outsource their research efforts on this planet due to, well, you're not high enough the chain to know the reason. But these sites have been all but pretty much abandoned by AbsCorp, to your knowledge.
It might be worth checking out, see if we can find anything of value. Be wary of anyone or anything that's holed up in the facility, though.
AbsCorp. They're scavengers now on this planet, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it.
They all but lost interest in the planet prior to the catastrophes. They only came back because of the strangeness and how it could possibly make them money.
All right. Well, with a little bit of dialogue from the others, this is currently, we'll say, your 4th day on the road. You're about halfway to Fontaine for those following along. But it sounds like, Maxine, you guys are going to make a stop here?
That would be my plan.
Okay. Just for, I think, travel purposes, right? I just want to throw one item out there. But since it appears that Maxine, Daario, and Sam are the 3 who are able to drive, I think what we'll do, unless you guys decide to voice in to change the order, is Maxine kind of takes it during the day. Sam will drive through the night. Daario will fill in for Sam kind of early, and then we'll just keep going in that cycle again, unless you guys feel otherwise. But does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Kind of seems like what you guys have been doing.
I'm the one who can really see in the dark anyways, so that makes sense.
Cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
All right. Well, Maxine, as you guys approach this compound, you slow down slightly, keeping an eye out. You will notice that in the woods, there seems to be some critters, some quadrupedal mammal-looking creatures that are scurrying about up above. There are some birds flying by as well. And Daario, you guys, well, anyone looking outside will probably see it if they're not completely focused on this, again, research facility. But it's fairly small. There seems to be kind of one research building, an extension, maybe that resembles a bit more of like a little living hab area. And then there's some kind of like a scanner looking array that's a bit more bulbous that you guys see in the image there. But when you get closer, some of the windows seem to be broken. There's definitely some vegetation that seems to have reclaimed the area around this research site. But you park the car, get out, and what do you all do as you're stopped here? We'll say it's like middle of the day.
I'm gonna get my armor and stuff on before we get around to approaching or anything.
Good idea. I think it takes you about 5 minutes or so. That's a good point also, because again, a few days have gone by in total. If you haven't used up a ration, I'm going to have everyone make sure that they use one.
But what about second breakfast?
If you feel like, yeah, if you feel like your character would use 2, just manually mark off a second one. But those of you who are rationing, trying to eat light, I'm not gonna hound you again for every single day right now. There will come probably a planet or a situation where food management might become a bit more important, but Aurora Green at the moment is not going to be one of them. All right, who am I missing food from?
I just
If you manually did it, okay,
amount.
that is fine. Okay. Yes, while Maxine and others are getting their gear out of the trunk, getting ready to set out, a few of you guys are munching, as you guys had throughout the road trip. But yes, it's fairly quiet. The roads overall don't seem like they're heavily traveled. The location here, outside of the chirp of aerial critters around and the scurrying and rustling of bushes from perhaps more smaller creatures or whatever might be in the woods. Up ahead, a slightly eerie abandoned location as the wind kind of travels along the mountainside down the road that you guys are currently on.
So what's the plan here?
Well, I think try to get in, turn the place over, see what we can find. There is a chance that there's some supplies left over.
And if we engage with anyone that may be here.
Look, Daario, look at us here. We're explorers. We explore. And if anyone else wants to get on the way, then we bash them in the face.
I can get behind that.
I feel like this usually ends with me getting injured somehow.
Actually, Daario, can I see your weapon for a second?
Start backing away.
I hold it out, but I don't hand it to him.
What? Just hand it here. It's really shoddy work you've done here. Hold on. Wait, do you mind?
A little reluctantly, Daario. Here you go. Hands it off.
I take his gun, and you watch as he almost somehow like takes apart part of the gun while holding it together and puts it all back together, and then I tune up the weapon so that it gets a buff.
Okay, okay.
You just see him basically pull apart the weapon and put it all back together, all in air in one motion.
Does it physically show anything within it, or does it look exactly the same?
All right, real quick.
Does it glow up? Do I see a plus number show up anywhere?
Got some dirt off of the inside.
Real quick. So, what was the original spell for this one?
That looks like holy weapon.
It does look like holy
the original
weapon.
Spell
Or magic
hold
weapon.
on.
I think I vaguely recognize the spell description here, but yeah, it's gonna make it magical. It's gonna give it bonus. So I think quick tuning. I'm down with the flavoring. I don't know about the fucking throw it up in the air and it just like falls apart and then you put it together like a chef's knife through an onion or some bullshit. But what will happen, however, is that Sam will begin tinkering with it, looking at it, examining it, going through it. Daario, this makes you incredibly uncomfortable, as your weapon does have, if I'm not mistaken, a bit of a personal history for you. But that said, Sam does something to it, and you're not really sure what he's doing. Must be some technician crap. But when you get it back, the weapon will perform better and will be, well, I guess in this campaign, magic weapon is really more like energy in a sense, but there will be a bonus to it. So I'll make a note of that.
All right, kind of like looking through through the iron sights of it, kind of pulling the, I don't know, like the bolt action on it. And
it is magic weapon, by the way, the original spell.
It is magic, yeah. So, yeah, the weapon, right, with some tuning that Sam had done, the sights are just millimeters a bit better adjusted. Any sort of kind of stickiness or jamming in the firing mechanism or the trigger seems to have been kind of smoothened out, and the weapon itself almost feels like you just picked it up brand new again. It's been a long time since you've seen it, so crisp and clean.
Handing it back to Daario. You should take better care of this weapon. Sometimes it's life or death out here. Just maybe spend a little more time with it.
A bit of a laugh, and puts a hand on Sam's shoulder. Said, "Well, thank you, Sam. Definitely gonna be working a lot better now with it. But the fact that I have you now, I'm gonna make sure to take care of it a lot better."
You know what I'm solely enjoying? The fact that every action by Sam is met with skepticism.
Why is he the one that gets met by skepticism and not me?
Because
actually, I got a rock in the face, so that's nice.
Yeah. People understand what I'm doing. They just don't understand how I do it so well.
Exactly. There we go. That's some Sam logic right there. All right. Well,
so the approach, I'm gonna keep some distance because I'm incredibly certain that I'm faster than all of you. I can catch up if I need to, and I'm better at a distance anyway. The rest of you are gonna approach in some formation that I assume you'll figure out amongst yourselves. And if we come across people or anything that can speak, maybe we try some level of diplomacy. And if that's not an option, just give me the signal.
You better be looking at freaking Koji when you say that.
What's diplomacy mean?
Never heard that weapon. What's diplomacy?
Yeah, I think we're gonna be fine. Let's go, big man. You lead the way.
All right. Koji will start taking off towards the building.
all right. So party token orientation right, at least for the screen. So if Koji, for example, is in the front and Maxine is in the back. Oh, you had the right idea. Go ahead and there you go. Perfect. Yep. So the rest of you guys decide how you're going to filter into this kind of lineup. All right. That works for me. Feel free to adjust as you guys see fit. But you guys will begin moving closer to the research facility, as we have two ways we can do this. I'm going to let you guys decide. We can go into the facility and see what happens room by room, or what I would prefer, just because again I don't want to have a third road trip night, is we kind of speed run through rolls the settlement here, or the research facility. So I think what we'll do to start is, what would you each like to do when you get inside? Obviously you'll be keeping a bit of a kind of squad lineup, right? Making sure that if something does appear or if a person is encountered, that you'll be able to react. But what is everyone's goal as you are setting into this research facility? So I think with Koji leading the way, Koji, what are you going to be, what are you going to have an eye out for? What's going through your mind?
Anything security system. If there's any like turrets or like fucking patrolling bots or whatever. Any signs of life, hostile or not?
Okay.
I'm gonna second the signs of life. I want to know if there are people here, if it's run by anyone, and also if it is a research facility, what kind of research are they doing?
Perfect.
Yeah, Dario's kind of looking for the same thing. I mean, I feel like we're all looking for this core, right? And I think at the ultimate mission is trying to look for some information about that. So, kind of looking through documentation.
Cadin's keeping his eye out for creatures and people. Mainly creatures that he's kind of encountered in the past on Aurora Grain.
I'm looking for anything, any discreet or hidden places that stuff could be stashed away. I'm looking for the loot. I'm looking for the goods.
Okay,
The
fair.
cash.
Give me
So-
cash.
All right, we're gonna start with some rolls, and then we'll see how things go out. So Koji, I'm gonna have you start with a. We're gonna go with perception for Koji.
But he could punch his way.
Fair.
That's a 6.
Okay. Sam, I'm gonna need you to give me a also perception and also investigation.
Perception 15 and investigation 9.
Okay. Daario, I'm gonna have you give me an investigation roll. Cadin,
17.
yours is gonna be a perception roll.
Oh,
Ouch. Okay.
Not a good day for the Cadin.
on my
boy.
screen it almost stopped on a 19 and it like flipped over.
Okay. All right, and then Maxine, you are going to have to give me a. Yours is going to be a little different. I'm going to have you give me a investigation roll and a history roll.
All right, it's a 19 on the investigation and a 17 on the history.
Ooh.
Okay.
You know, I thought Koji was the most broken character of our group. I'm quickly realizing I think Maxine might be.
Maxine's pretty disgusting, I will admit. You're
It-
kinda.
It's not okay what I'm doing.
It's fine though. Maxine, frankly, out of everyone here, Maxine, I think, who was it that said Maxine being like the most competent character? Like literally her backstory out of all of you has been the most, like she has postured herself to be the most competent character. She got starting roles that made her the most competent character. And then her roles in the fucking game have been so consistently high that no, she is the most capable at this point. I'm fully down to that being just the way it is now.
I love the handicap or the contrast of the fact that like Maxine's extremely competent, and then I don't know about your characters, but I literally like handicapped my character. Like I walked up and kneecapped myself essentially.
That's a you problem though. So you know.
I think I had the lowest average rolls out of everyone on character creating.
Yeah, but see, you're making it up with Sam energy. You know, it's good.
The best part is, I don't know. In D&D, I love rolling ones. Ones are my favorite shit to roll in the game.
Depends on how the ones get handled,
The
though,
only
right?
that beats a one
Yeah.
with a -2 wisdom, because that's just fun.
All right, I am gonna have a couple more rolls made. So this is going to be a survival roll, which will have to happen from Koji, Cadin. Yeah, Koji and Cadin give me a survival roll as well.
That is an 18.
Oh my god, you are hilarious.
Yeah.
Your existence. Your existence, I love you. Oh my god, amazing.
Incredible.
I
How-
don't know, it's exactly like Maxine. Like she's rolling competently, and I'm rolling incompetently.
You're just irregular.
This is like the third one today.
Is it? All right, let's go. Nice. All right, with all the rolls, we might have some more rolls coming up, but with what we see here, Koji leading the group as you make your way towards the closest door that you can find. You guys all make your way up to this kind of radio dome bulb that's kind of floating up above a PAB unit. Koji, you're going to spot around that there are definitely signs of around where the door is. Looks to be either a camera or a turret. You're not entirely sure, as there seems to be a mechanism where part of it is able to extend into and out of the building, and currently it seems to be broken, deactivated. It's kind of looks to be in a powered down state, and there doesn't seem to be any indication that any form of electronics is turned on at the moment. With Koji's just kind of natural take on danger, I mean, he is the danger, so it's really just kind of alpha vibes walking around. But you're not getting the sense of being watched. You're not getting the sense of any form of threat being near you. And Koji, as Koji does, probably just approaches the whole damn thing incredibly confidently, like nothing could hurt him. And the rest of the party following in stride, with Koji just not batting an eye, taking the lead. Sam, you're also going to be keeping quite the eye out as you all enter the hab, where the door has actually, again, through malfunction and just time, but has been pushed kind of over slightly by roots that had begun to kind of stretch and reach around the structure. Again, with the vegetation kind of retaking this place, much of the structural element seems to have deteriorated, and the door is partially broken open. Koji, you kind of just kick it over and it breaks right off, and part of the hab door is now open as you all step in. Inside this kind of research area, you see a bunch of powered off electronics. There seems to be a few stations where there are computers set up, and again, much of it seems to be a bit in disarray. There are a variety of kind of cabinets and containers that seem to have been opened up, and much of it either riled through by critters or people, or perhaps when AbsCorp were abandoning this location. It's unclear. But Maxine, you remember that there was a time where you had also been involved in one of these stations being kind of cleared out, and they don't really seem to care about what's left behind. All they really seem to care about is the data on their drives, as well as any sort of research materials, samples, which they all quickly collected, and once everything has been gathered, they kind of just left everything as is and left the place. But Daario, Sam, and Maxine, as you're all particularly kind of navigating around looking for whatever it may be, Sam, you find a few papers lying around where much of it kind of seems like scribbled kind of notes. Much of the important stuff seems to have been just taken, or frankly, you're just not even sure what's important and what's not. So, Sam, you're finding a few kind of scrap notes lying around, wondering if they're important or not, but frankly, you're not making any connections yet. Daario, as you guys all continue passing through this area, you're thinking more in the lines of like technology, and much of the systems here, again, being powered down, turned off. Maybe you think to yourself that perhaps if there's a generator or a power source nearby that you can get things turned back on, maybe there would be something you can recover. But at the moment, with everything shut down, with some of the systems kind of looking destroyed, things aren't looking very optimistic for acquiring kind of technology per se. Maxine, you remember that these radio locations are really more so used for communication back to Dynasty, sending information, the upload, download of data, as well as scanning for any kind of nearby anomalies, maybe energy spikes. Perhaps they are also tracking like the weather. You're not super technical in that regard, so you kind of are recalling things from hindsight, from the facilities that you had been to. And Cadin, you're just not really sure what you're looking for. All of this is pretty damn new. You're feeling really kind of lost and confused. Really don't know what you're looking for. But yeah, you're kind of bumbling about, or making busy for yourself at the best that you can, but no less productive. But yeah, this is the first room. seems to be a bit like there's a lot of technology in here, but you look around and it's kind of spread out doing your own thing. But before you depart to continue forward to the other parts of the hab, as it does seem to be a corridor on one end with a hallway that seems to lead to one of the other buildings. But back to the party.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna find a lot here if everything's powered down. Unless we have it on hard copies we could find. But it looks like some people left in a hurry.
It's all the important data and stuff that I imagine they take with them. Didn't really come in here planning on anything like that. The loose physical goods ends up being cheaper somehow in the long run to just pack up and leave than to find some way to ship everything back, you know.
We gotta keep in mind Maxine as well too. And it looks like these people left in a rush. Usually something gets left behind. So I'd imagine there's gonna be at least one breadcrumb here if we're able to find it. People don't leave this quick without leaving something. Unintentionally.
While you guys are preparing to venture forward into the corridor, looking around and feeling like this section of the facility is not going to bear any fruit at the moment, but as you all are talking, there's an echo of metal that seems to echo down the corridor from the other side, as it sounds as though in a room of silence a bottle had been knocked over and rattled on the ground.
Did you see that?
I certainly didn't.
I heard that.
I'm readying myself quickly, looking for cover.
And Daario raises weapon towards the direction where the sound came from.
Okay, yeah, you all quickly posture yourselves, getting line of sight down this corridor. It's a bit of a kind of a tube corridor, and with the doors kind of left open, looking down, the light is coming through, and what you see up ahead does appear to be kind of a more open space. There seems to be a sofa or something on the far end. It's kind of hard to see from the distance at the moment and the angle that you're currently in. But Maxine, looking through your scope, it does appear to be the HAB unit is next up ahead, and you all posture, a couple of you readying your weapons, aiming it down this corridor, and you all wait for probably no more than 10 seconds, which feel to some of you like a minute, and nothing else seems to ring by.
Holding my hammer, I'll walk the corridor.
Koji will join him.
Okay. Is anybody staying in the first room while they proceed? Or are we all moving up roughly together? Okay.
Yeah, if there's not, I think I'd like post up like around the corner while they're moving down the corridor.
Okay. Cadin, everyone kind of readies, but Koji and Sam could venture forward.
What's going on?
You're not stupid, dude. Come on.
No, but like I didn't see anything. Everyone's freaking out.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do here is Daario and Maxine, you guys are gonna kind of hang back on the opposite end as Sam and Koji venture forward, and yeah, Cadin is asking with Maxine and Daario nearby, what the hell's going on?
With everyone and like get ready for something.
All right, Koji, Sam, you guys will venture forward first, and going down the corridor itself is pretty silent. The glass that surrounds this tube does seem to have been a bit dirtied over the time that it's been abandoned. The light does shine through, but it does seem to be partially covered in some grime and perhaps some moss type substance that is growing up and around the exterior of it. And when you get to the far end, you take a peek inside and you find that this does appear to be a very livable hab unit, or at least once upon a time it was. On the ground floor, as you look around, you find that there is a kind of a living space, and there seems to be another room to the rear. There seems to be a staircase that wraps around above you and leads somewhere. But initially, as you step inside or peek inside, there doesn't seem to be any sign of movement.
I'm looking on the floor to see if there's any bottles or cans that fell.
There are absolutely items left about. The table itself does seem to have some fairly old kind of plates. There's still, again, some papers and books that seem to be left there, though they look like a mess. They look like the edges have been deteriorated. Any sort of plateware that was left behind is just covered in just like fungus, mushrooms that are growing on top of the table. And on the ground, you do find some bottles and some cans and some containers, but I'm going to have you give me a... No, your perception roll was high enough, but
going to each bottle and can, I want to flip it upside down to see if any liquid falls out.
Okay. So same, you step inside, not sensing anything here, but go into what bottles you are able to find. You pick them up, flip them upside down. Many of them are empty. A couple of them do gush out a rank smelling fluid, and one of them in particular seems to contain a very viscous goo that kind of just drips out slowly. But as you get to a bottle that is lying at the ground of the table, kind of in this living space, and flip it upside down, you do find that as you flip it, there is some insects that will fall out of a couple of them as well. Smaller, more traditional insects that we might be familiar with.
I kind of drop the bottle and brush insects off me and step on them.
Yeah. You crush them.
Bugs. Yeah, I hate bugs.
You and me both. Place really is trash, though.
I don't think anyone's lived here for quite a while.
Certainly looks that way. Alright.
Well,
is there anybody here?
Koji?
I want to start digging around and see if I can tell what kind of people lived here. Like, do I see any military credentials? Do I see any family pictures? That sort of thing.
Okay. As Koji calls out, Daario, Cadin, Maxine, you guys will hear Koji call out. There doesn't seem to be any response, Koji. You're just met with a flutter of like a creature that was outside there. As you look up, you do find that one of the windows that gives a nice view of the exterior has been kind of broken and smashed as a bird flies out. And after that, you're met with silence. But Sam, as you navigate around and check kind of the back room as well, you'll find like a kitchen area. Definitely seems to be more like an office kitchen rather than a home, like a residence. But you do find that there are some lab coats lying around there. You didn't find any badges as you look about, but what you will find is there are some picture frames that were left behind, and on one of them you see a man with glasses. It's a very basic with a wife, and looks like he has a daughter. The screen, the cover of it is very dirty, so you have to kind of use your hand or your thumb to make it viewable. And then you also find a cracked data tablet or a data screen, kind of like an iPad, that, well, it's not functional anymore, but on the rear of it, where the screen is not, you see the name. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, you find the name S. Lee. Yeah, so there's like a little engraving of a S.Li.
I look over to Koji and I say, "Hey, Koji, probably 1 in a million shot, but does this make any sense to you? S. Lee?
S. Lee?
Yeah, just
Like-
to put it in the chat here so that you know exactly how it's kind of spelled out.
Like Slee?
No, maybe someone's initial, first initial, last name. You know, I've seen a lot of these tablets, and typically you don't really put your name on it unless it's kind of private, personal property.
Like a name tag?
Kind of. Yeah, it's one you don't want to share. Probably not the most basic thing that people get. This whoever this S. Lee was, he really felt like this was something that was personal to him. You know, to engrave his name on it.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense, I guess.
Well,
What are you trying to
other
get
than
at?
trying to figure out who actually lived here. I mean, whoever it was doesn't look like they've been here for a long time.
Trying to find out if I like know him or something.
Maybe,
That's-
maybe it could have been a wealthy person. And I mean, you quadrillionaires, you all know each other, right?
I didn't get that high up. Was more of a like brawler kind of guy. My dad might know him though.
Well, let's I'm gonna hold on to this. Maybe one of the guys, Daario seems pretty good with machines. Maybe he can make this work. If anything, let's say this is somebody who is here, somebody who might be wealthy or knowledgeable, and got off the planet on one of those transport ships. We might have a little more knowledge on what it takes to get off this planet.
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. You know, like kick a can or something.
As you do that, Daario, Cadin, Maxine, it's been a little while since Sam and Koji really had done much. You heard Koji call out. You didn't hear any sort of protest after. And then after, again, what feels like a long minute of waiting, there is a sound of a can that echoes down the corridor.
That was again.
Should we go after them?
I feel like we have to. I gotta protect them, right?
Probably shouldn't stay separated too long.
Well,
Start moving forward towards their direction.
okay. Sam, Koji, while you guys are kind of talking in the living space, having kind of looked around and not finding anything other than a few insects and critters, Daario, Cadin, and Maxine, you guys approach the opposite end of the corridor and find the others. Seeing that the room seems to be, well, the room is in disarray, but seeing how there doesn't seem to be any immediate threat, you guys all kind of relax yourselves. And Maxine, with your earlier investigation history roll, you immediately start heading towards the back where the kitchen area was. Opening manually, kind of pulling open a door, which causes everyone to kind of look at what you're doing. But once it's open, you head inside to where this kitchen is, and you go to where the sink would be located, pop it open, or pop underneath open, and you reach in, fishing around, as anyone who would like to kind of follow Maxine and see what she's doing. Maxine seems to be looking for something.
For a snack or something?
You doing alright, Maxine?
Maxine doesn't immediately respond to you all. Her arm kind of reaching under where the sink is located. And Maxine, you face the others with a delighted smile as your fingers rest on some kind of a punch pad that you find under the sink.
Why would something like that be under here?
Oh, hold up. I got a message here. Maxine, did we lose you?
Oh,
you're
here.
Okay. Yeah, so Maxine, as you find what you're looking for, you punch in a common code that you remember from these facilities, and you all hear a thunk as the floorboards underneath you, or at least the hab floor underneath you, something seems to unlock, and a cellar door opens, or at least slowly begins to open, and create a makeshift, or not create, reveals a makeshift staircase.
Whoa.
All right.
Maxine, do you know what's gonna be down there?
Not specifically, but
with that, Maxine, you will venture down, and what you find is the storage room, which contains, though there does appear to have been some critters that found their way in here, you definitely find that some of the supplies here have been infested, isn't the word, but some critters had their helping. But this is the underground kind of, think of it like a pantry, as you find there are some bags of grain that seems to be in one of the corners, or not grain, like cornmeal type stuff, some kind of a low cost, sustainable kind of cornmeal type food that could be commonly used kind of to make like gruel. There's also several cans, some of them which seem to be labeled with common fruits and vegetables, and others that seem to be, again, torn into by and opened up, as some of the food is spoiled, spilled out on the ground. There's a bit of a lingering smell that you guys all find here. But yeah, Maxine, you have found what you were looking for down here.
all right. Well, there's the supplies. Don't know about all of you, but the rations will only keep me going for so long.
Yeah, this is gonna be a great help for us. I think definitely something that we were looking to come here for.
Just have to dig through, get what's still good, and try not to take stuff that's gonna cause us more problems than help.
Daario starts to look through the available inventory.
All right. We'll talk about this more as you guys gather up what foodstuffs that you can, supplies that you can. But there is going to be enough supplies here that you are able to fill 3 boxes of cans and various foods, which are perhaps you could use as either trade material. Perhaps it'll help you down the road. But between Daario and Maxine, at least, you guys are able to stock up and you'll acquire, I don't know, for now, just mark your inventory as 3 boxes of foodstuffs, and then we'll go from there.
Maxine, do you want to put that on your inventory? Do you want to separate it like one of these?
All of you should have access to the vehicle, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of you guys can just go to the vehicle inventory and edit there. There's a spec section there for cargo and crew.
Okay.
Yep. So in the cargo section, just treat that as like your party inventory for anything that you stash back in the vehicle. And you know what? While we're on that topic, from the party, who wants to claim ownership of the vehicle? Because if there's someone who would like, kind of like, you know how some campaigns will have someone who keeps the magic bag. Someone in the campaign might be the note keeper, right? So rather than needing to second guess who's going to be responsible for the inventory of the vehicle, does anybody want to be like the vehicle's keeper? All right.
Again, put it in your magical inventory item slot.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you think about it and would like to claim it, just send me a DM later, and we'll make a note of that to the group when we can. Cool. So with that, you find what you're looking for. For the rest of you, as you continue to explore, while Maxine and Daario are collecting food, going through the foods and seeing what supplies they can gather, Sam, Cadin, and Koji, there is one more corridor that you guys saw, or at least Koji and Sam, leading from the Hab kind of living space to the final 3rd building. And I guess here's a question for Cadin, since you rolled wonderfully last time. Are you going to stick back and help Daario and Maxine, or would you like to continue with Koji and Sam?
I'll stick with Koji and Sam. I don't know what they're planning to do, but I'll just kind of stick with them.
Okay. Koji and Sam, we're going to have you guys venture forward towards the 3rd building. But before we do, anything you'd like to do with the group before departing and separating briefly?
No.
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay. Daario, Maxine, if you guys have anything to do or if you have anything to bring up, feel free to jump in. But the Koji and Sam, yeah, you guys with Cadin in tow, head to the 2nd corridor, make your way down cautiously, and this area seems to be more of like an office space. There are more kind of tables and what's the word? Oh my, I can't believe I'm blanking on this word. But IT department, they have a bunch of cubicles. That's the word. You find several cubicles here. There seems to be kind of like independent personal workstations here. And yeah, Koji, you're kind of keeping watch, not really sure what to look for. But Sam, as you walk around, you find a few more kind of notes that were left behind. There's some pin boards. There's a few of these cubicles where it looks like whoever was here was more accustomed to making like physical notes rather than digital. And you find a few messages. And I think in total, I'm going to have you roll me another investigation to see if you can piece together what the hell they were doing here.
I rolled 16.
16. All right. So with the information that you had found, right? Again, there were some scribbled notes. Didn't really make much sense in this room. But with the 16, Sam, you start to piece together a little bit about what they might have been doing. They were absolutely, you're drawing the conclusions that they were absolutely tracking kind of the energy fluctuations. You find some graphs that seem to be talking about energy fluctuations, energy wavelengths. You also find a few kind of sketches that someone scribbled of critters. One in particular looks a lot like a kind of kangaroo rat that is a fusion with like a wolf. It looks like a chupacabra almost looking critter, kind of creepy, weird looking. You've never seen one before. And there was also some sketches of gosh, how do I want to explain this one? You for those of you who have seen like a solar array that is kind of out in the middle of a desert, it looks kind of like that, but the center of it is emptied out and the ring is kind of thinned out and much larger. So let me actually minimize that image and instead kind of go with a, gosh, I don't really want to draw this entirely. Question for Sean here. Is there a way to like draw a circle and then eraser parts of it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, basically, right, there seems to be an image that has two rings. Somewhat postured like this, but more centered with one another. And in fairly regular intervals outside, right, there are breaks, creating, again, a series of tiny, tiny, tiny little segments of these two rings. Again, much like a solar array, but the center of it is quite empty. And this looks like almost like a satellite image from what you can tell. I know I said it was like a sketch, but yeah, it's sketched in a way where it looks to be very distanced. Maybe at some point here I can find a way to depict that a little bit better through the tools I have here.
I'm gonna call over Koji and I'm gonna call over Cadin. Hey, you guys, look at this. It seems like they were tracking something. The shape of it doesn't it almost look like what the perimeter of the catastrophes were?
I might know that. I'm gonna have a look.
Do you also know the area? This could be someplace you've been before.
Cadin, give me a history roll.
Time to be smart, Cadin. Come on.
Ooh.
Okay. Cadin. Yeah, Cadin. Thinking back to the catastrophe, thinking back to whether you might have seen some sort of circular structure or object or design or pattern. You're not really sure what you're looking at, but you know for sure, or you believe for sure, that catastrophes are change incarnate, as you said. It'd be strange for you to think that a very cleanly sketched out circular object, as depicted in this little sketch here, resembles the exterior of a catastrophe. It wouldn't make much sense. Every catastrophe that you've seen has been very chaotic, almost lashing out, kind of like tendrils, or if you've ever seen a storm and the fingers of a storm, that would be a bit more appropriate than something so solid and straight. Uniform, correct. Yes, better word. And as far as a place you may recognize, I don't know personally, out of character, out of the seat. Cadin talks a lot like he's been all over Aurora Green, but he really hasn't. So
I've gotten all the way to here on foot, essentially.
No, you didn't. What do you mean?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, right. you ended up on a space station. That's hard to do on foot. But your primary kind of area that you would have explored or grew up around to have recognized would have been around Edgerton, right? Much of the scaling in this campaign, or at least on the Aurora Green where you guys are traveling between, think of the distance between like Mexico to Canada or LA to New York. Like that's the degree of distance between two locations we're kind of playing with right now. So Cadin, you might know your city, but your city doesn't have anything that you can think of that looks like this. I mean, perhaps maybe you could draw the conclusion that, you know, Edgerson's kind of circular. I mean, at least before the cleansing, it kind of was designed in a very circular way that maybe this resembles, but I mean, you never thought much of it.
So there's no landmarks it resembles, though. Again, it'd be mostly around Edgerton because I'm from Edgerton and I spent some time around Edgerton, not strictly only in it.
But again, this is like a post-it note that's been sketched, right? So you got a little post-it note here. You got this kind of circle that is drawn within, again, sketched out. And you know what? Here, I'll even give you a little bit more. There's a scribble on the top kind of corner here. Oh my God, new text. Look at that. But let's see if I can select text, or is this one of those?
I believe this person started the new document and didn't name it. That's what this sketch looks like.
Yeah. So there's a little scribble. I don't know why there's a border around it, but oh, that's because I'm selecting it. Yeah, but there's a scribble at the top that says the ring. Again, very shitty, simple sketch from me, but there's not a whole lot of information here that leads you to believe that it is Edgerton specific or catastrophe specific.
What kind of information is on here? Like locations of stuff that's happened? Like, does it look like they're mapping something?
No, it's literally take a post-it note. There's a couple of circles that are created through these, again, these like almost like dotted lines, right? Again, the example I used, like a solar panel array, which, gosh, I don't even know how I would show this quickly. Let me see if I can find a simple one.
Are we on Halo?
It's a ring world, everyone. It's a ring world.
Does there happen to be any VHS tapes nearby?
I immediately start looking for beta.
Swear to God, if a phone rings that says 7 days, I'm out.
Okay, I found some pictures here. All right, let's see. Okay, this is from the wiki, so I can probably share this without worrying about it. And the question here is, how am I going to move this into the game for...
You want to share it on stream and then share it to us on Discord?
No, I think I almost have it here, so I'm just going to make a new journal entry. Oh my God, all these tools, tips.
D&D on the fly.
Yeah, sometimes it's required.
It's always required. That's every D&D game.
Yeah, pretty true.
Ain't nothing like a bit of improv.
Yeah.
Now, okay, and unfortunately,
Except
I cannot...
when we get all the scripts ahead of time, right?
Man, that's not D&D anymore, though, is it?
Let's just check my script here quickly. Yeah, this is supposed to happen on the script. I'll just throw this out here.
Your paper's coming through in the mic so loud.
He's shuffling papers.
I know.
There's supposed to be some paper noise, but not too much paper noise. I think I had too much paper noise.
All right. Perfect. So this is from the wiki. So if I get striked for it, deal with it. So again, this is a solar panel array, right? Out in the...
Oh, that's what you mean now.
Yeah. So it looks like, again, just take the outer ring of it, the outer few kind of rings that are created by this, and that is the design that's been kind of sketched out on this post-it note. And again, in the corner, there's just a little scribble that says the ring. What it means, none of you really know yet.
Interesting. Okay, this is a physical copy. You said, like a sticky note. We're taking it with us.
Correct. Okay, yeah, and if you take it with you, you know what? I'll just use the same image as part of the note for it. Yeah.
So, Cadin, you know what this place looks like? You know where this is at?
No. It looks like a ring. That's about all I can tell you.
Well, let's keep looking around. While I'm looking around this, I kind of like office space. I do want, and this is a long shot, I want to see if there's any markings of like scratch marks on the ground that might indicate like desks moving or like cubicles moving or walls opening.
Okay.
Good entrances.
Okay. Let's see here. You rolled earlier. Sure. I'm not going to actually make you roll again. Your perception earlier is what I'm going to go off of for this one. And yeah, looking around, you're not going to find any scratches that indicate the movement of these cubicles. Ever since, when you arrived, right, again, this place has been sitting like this for a while from the looks of it. You actually haven't really even seen any sort of like foot traffic that is fresh.
That's what you want us to think.
I don't believe anything the GM says, which is probably a good tactic. But what you do find instead are animal tracks. You find the tracks of a 4-fingered kind of paw print that seems to be in either a pair or a quad. And you also see scratch marks now that you're kind of looking. These actually seem to be almost like gashes that you would see from what's an example I could use here? Imagine Wolverine. Well, I forget what that chick was that has the 2 claws instead, but it's kind of like that.
Weapon X?
Was that? Yeah, that might have been her name.
Or what? Isn't that her name?
I don't remember. Yeah. So yeah, you see kind of these claw marks that are in pairs, parallel to one another, kind of along the ground. Seems to be accompanying or nearby the steps that you see as well, and there seems to be a couple of them, or maybe three to four of them that you're finding, but not quite what you're looking for, but that's what you see instead.
Well, as far as I can tell, there isn't anyone who's been here for a bit. And it looks like maybe they've been doing some research, but nothing seems too helpful. Maybe we go meet up with the other guys. Maybe see if they found anything back in that first room.
Sure.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. You all make it back. You find that Maxine and Daario are no longer in that room. But you do hear their voices coming from outside. So you continue out there and heading back to where the vehicle is. You find Daario and Maxime seem to be kind of loading up the last of the last crate that they were able to collect.
Boy, you guys find something?
Yeah, we, thanks to Maxine, we found a couple of boxes for us. Some food to go along the way.
That's wonderful. We could have used some resupply. It's a good find.
Is it like real food, or is it like stuff we were eating back in Bannock's place?
I won't be one to complain, but definitely could be useful, especially if we're getting tired eating these rations. What do you think, Maxine? You think it'll be good for us?
Well, some of the rations are really good, but nah, it's like cheap corporate office food. I don't know.
Koji, what they're saying is, it's worse.
No.
Just a look of just defeat and dread.
Now, I don't want to scare you, big guy, but this stuff, it's what they'd call affordable.
God help us.
Well, as you are all getting ready to depart, think about if there's any other dialogue you guys want to explore, but I think I'm ready for one. I think a couple of us are ready for one. Let's take a couple-minute break here. Be back in like 3 minutes or so as we try to wrap up the last of our little road trip. And sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. Go ahead and top off your glasses, empty your tanks, and we'll be back here in 3 to 5 or so. See you all here in a bit. All right, we are back. Continuation of tonight's episode of Horizon Exploration, where the party has not encountered, but after a few more days of travel, they had stumbled across some form of a research facility, which Maxine recognized to be one that belonged to AbsCorp and had been erected back when catastrophes became frequent, when AbsCorp and Dynasty had a bit of a initial presence on the planet, which was some time ago. However, in more recent years, these sites have been all but abandoned, left behind. Whatever materials were left behind were a disposable cost, and the personnel retrieved as Dynasty decided to do something a little different for research on Aurora Green. Which, yeah. Now, the party has explored 3 rooms. There was kind of a radio and technical room. There was a living quarter hab room, and one that appeared to be more of like an office space for research and for the employees, a kind of cubicle setup. And through their exploration, they found a few notes. Sam seems to be under the rough conclusion that perhaps this facility was researching kind of energy fluctuations. And there was a note that they had found that had the title The Ring, which, using it as a reference point, right? We have a bit of a solar array panel kind of setup here that the outer rings of is what was drawn, the inner area being empty. And Maxine, having recognized these facilities, found a kind of tucked away supply closet or a pantry closet underground to the hab unit. And the group has managed to recover, between Daario and Maxine, 3 boxes of foodstuff supplies, which they may use down the line. But with that said, everyone has regrouped back outside. Everyone is at the vehicle currently, and I think we're deciding whether they set off or decide to do something a bit further. And what is the party thinking currently?
What time of the day is it? Like, do we need to rest? Because this might not be a bad spot to camp for the night.
So I think when you guys arrived, I said it was about midday on the 4th day of travel.
Midday's not great. Okay, never mind. Forgot that.
But you guys would likely be inside fishing around for at least an hour or 2, I would imagine, kind of moving a bit cautiously and slow, taking your time, kind of looking through what was left behind, as well as Maxine and Daario salvaging what was available within the pantry, as well as collecting them and bringing them back. I think an hour or 2 is pretty reasonable. But as you're all talking about maybe rest, well, Sam, you're ready to drive through the night and can venture forward. Koji, as you're kind of looking around and looking back to the facility, you're going to spot something with your earlier roll. You catch in the tree line, there seems to be a pack of eyes that are... You only caught them because there was a faint glimmer of yellow that you spotted again, in the tree line. And again, there's you can't tell if it's 2, 3, 4 pairs, but there's definitely at least 2. You keep an eye on them and you scout around some more as well. And you also are going to notice that you feel a sense of something watching you. And initially that's what led you to look down towards the tree line. But then you quickly realize that, no, it feels like you're being watched from somewhere else. So you look around. And you catch something glimmer as the skies slowly are starting to darken, but otherwise there's still abundance of light, as well as the star in the distance lighting the sky. And you catch a glimmer from above as you look up and see some sort of a avian thing, object, creature, unsure. It's pretty far, but yeah, eyes in the woods, something in the sky is what Koji will notice as you guys are discussing rest or continue.
I'm still relatively near the group, right?
You're all by the vehicles, yeah, so you're all within speaking distance.
Hey, you guys see those eyes over there? I'll kind of like gesture towards the forest.
No, I didn't see anything. I'll look.
I look.
Okay. And those of you who explicitly wish to look and investigate, roll me a perception. For those of you who are less interested but still look anyways, let me know what your, I guess type in the chat what your perception modifier is.
15 rolled.
Yeah, 4.
Cadin with his rolls
Man,
today.
you are just doing
I
things.
roll incompetently. I play my roll well.
15.
Okay.
And GM, I'm not rolling, but my perception is +3.
Okay. So with the exception of Cadin, you all kind of look over and scan in the direction that...
Daario.
What did I... No, Cadin rolled a 4.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah. So with the exception of Cadin, including Daario, everyone else has been able to quickly spot where Koji is pointing and scan that rough area, and you do all spot a series of what appear to be pairs of yellow glows, orbs, resembling very much like eyes, kind of moving side to side your direction. Cadin,
I recognize them, but I didn't say anything. So.
yeah, Cadin, you're looking over in that direction, and you're just like, where? But it is there, and they don't seem to be doing anything at the moment, other than just again bobbing kind of left to right.
By the description that he said, yellow glowing eyes, would I have encountered anything like that previously?
Cadin, with your experience within the caves and with the things that you've seen, it's not uncommon for you at the dark times of Aurora Green when you may have stepped outside to have spotted glowing pairs of eyes. I mean, whether they were eyes or figments of your imagination, as it may be, it's possible, 100% possible. But without seeing the creature itself, I mean, yeah, you've seen pairs of eyes before at night. Well, as you guys have this staring contest with the these things, they continue to kind of nudge side to side, but a few seconds later, moments later, one of the pairs seems to vanish, then another, until there's only a pair left that seems to be watching and lingering, until that also seems to kind of turn to the side and move on.
Were those like dogs or something?
I didn't see him.
I mean, this world we've known there's a lot of critters, a lot of different animals. Other than the eyes, I couldn't get a good look. Maxine, how about you?
It's unclear. But,
Well, if we get in the car and start driving, I don't think of many animals or creatures that could catch up to us.
Oh, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they could, if they're anything remotely like any kind of natural kind of creature, they probably wouldn't pay us too much mind if we're in a moving vehicle anyway.
I guess it depends how hungry they are.
Let's not wait around for this to find out.
Koji, you'll hop in the car?
I'll hop into.
Yeah. Yee Haw.
All right, you're all getting ready to depart as the party. Lost something. All right, party gathers up into the vehicle. It is pushing later in the day, so until night falls, Maxine, I think you're going to be at the helm. And you guys all continue venturing forward away from the research facility. the next couple of days will pass, and I think by the time we're done with the road trip, I'm gonna have you guys eat a couple of rations again, which.
But we found extra food and rations, right?
You did find extra, yep. So if you ever wanted to convert a box to rations, let me know and I'll think about it. But over the next couple days, where is it? Here we go. You come across another site as fuel begins to run low. This seems to be a bit of an abandoned kind of place up in the mountains. Again, the mountains are beginning to decline now, and you are starting to climb down. As you look out to the northeast, you see a vast kind of plains out in the distance. Becomes a bit more hilly. You start to see some water sources that seem to be rolling down from higher up in the mountains. But in this abandoned place, you do find some abandoned vehicles. There's like a gas station where you manage to resupply some fuel, and you'll manage to do so pretty easily. There's definitely a little bit left behind, so we're going to say that it's enough to refill the vehicle, but not enough to refill the oil barrel that you guys had strapped to the vehicle. But a couple days again on the road once again, and Koji, I'm going to need you to give me a perception roll with disadvantage.
Perception at disadvantage, you said?
Perception disadvantage. Okay.
God, he's so good.
13, yeah.
So competent compared to the rest of us.
Okay.
I'm only talking about myself in that regard, by the way.
Koji, as you are in the car, kind of just occasionally watching outside the window, as Maxine, and depending on what time during the day, Daario and Sam, well, actually, you wouldn't be awake at night. You're gonna fucking sleep. But Koji, you still occasionally look out the window, and a couple times now. Once at the research facility, you're pretty sure you saw it yesterday. And now once again, you look up and you see this kind of white avian creature flying super high up. Looks to be very similar in shape, size, and color as what you've seen the past 2 days. And I'm starting to wonder, is this a coincidence? But...
And it absolutely looks like a bird or something? Like it's a creature? It's not like a ship of some kind?
Definitely does not look like a ship. It does have a wingspan, and let's go with a wisdom roll. I'm trying to think. Yeah, because it wouldn't be history. Let me, before you commit that roll, unless I missed you, let me just double check here if there was something more appropriate. Yeah, history is not going to work here. You don't have eyes to leverage investigation. Or not, you don't have eyes, but you don't have a mechanism.
He doesn't need eyes, he has fists.
True. I observe with my hands. All right.
Literally throws hands.
Literally. Yeah, it's gonna have to be some variant of perception, but again, it's outside the reach, so it's not gonna have proficiency. So yeah, it's just gonna be straight wisdom roll.
I heard that. It's an 11.
An 11. Yeah, honestly, it's so far away that it kind of looks more like a speck. It's almost like you can see a white plus in the sky that's a bit shaped like, again, some kind of a bird in the sky, right? So again, fairly white in color, has a wingspan, has a head, has a tail, as far as you can tell. The one with a 10, do I give you some grace here? Give me... Yeah, you wouldn't though. There's also... If you tell me a story of Akiyama and your favorite bird on Akiyama, maybe I'll... No, we're not going to do that. I'm going to have you give me a history roll.
All right.
This'll be the nail in the coffin, depending on which way it goes.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely not. That's a 2.
Yeah. So yeah, Koji, you're looking up. There's definitely something odd about it that catches your attention, but it's like you don't look at a seagull twice and be like, oh hey seagull, right? Like Koji doesn't fucking care. So yeah, there's something up in the sky. It's third time. It's now becoming a coincidence, and you're like maybe a little bit more curious about it, but not. You don't really care still, right? I think that's appropriate for Koji. But yes, Koji, that is what you notice. And again, you pass the King Shark saying bird. Shut up, man. I'm gonna have to rewatch that. But yes, you find again this kind of abandoned little resort looking place that definitely looks like no one's been up here in the mountains in forever. Very much like the research facility, completely just emptied out. Looks like things are even in more disarray. And again, the vehicles, you salvage what fuel you can between vehicles and what appears to be some kind of a gas station, refuel station, and continue on your way. As you depart the mountain range, you will also come across, which one? You'll come across a lake at the base where you are able to kind of refill your water supply as well. Down here, there's a bunch of kind of scrap that seems to be lying around. This road here, for those who would be driving and looking outside, does appear to be a bit more traveled. And far in the distance, though it's a bit difficult to tell with the time of day and a bit of kind of fog that seems to roll in on occasion, but out in the distance there seems to be these large emerald-like pillars jutting into the skies.
Near Fontaine, right? That's what they said. So we're getting close to Fontaine.
Well, remains to be seen, but you all will continue your road trip. And again, before we arrive at our next destination, are there any more questions or comments that you guys had for one another that you'd like to throw in there?
Sam,
Go for it.
if he's not sleeping in the back seat again. Hey Sam, I nudge him while he's sleeping.
What? What is it?
We haven't had much chance to talk since you've been sleeping all the time.
Well, I drive all night when you guys were sleeping.
I guess I could have waited tonight to talk to you. Well, now that we're here, and I don't want to disturb your sleep. I've been meaning to ask you how you got here, why you came here.
You mean how I joined in this group, like all y'all?
Well, that one's not too much of a mystery. I met you on the space station, kind of know what happened there, but like, why did you come here in general? Like, you've seen Aurora Green. This is not a place people go to for vacation.
This is actually my first time on Aurora Green, but yes, I've been to many planets, and I guess it's a long story, and I was part of a mission of explorers, a team, and we left our planet. I mean, it must have been years ago now. 15 of us. And man, we've seen a lot, but the last thing, I guess, why I'm here with you all, why I joined this expedition is one of the days we were at our station, and if my memory's not too clear, but I remember landing there. I remember my friends and my team, like my group, and when I woke up, they were gone. I tried searching for our ship. Our ship wasn't docked anymore. I tried asking around, and no one seems to know where it went. But I was stranded on board our station. You know, and I tried contacting them, tried reaching out to them, and no response. And then I, after days of searching, I met you. But you had that little crime hole of a bar with the plants inside. So stupid. But I hope. I guess my hope is to find my researchers, team members again. And if this is really the only next step I have to get off of Border Station, that's what I'm gonna do. And hope. I mean, if I can't find them, then I would really like to make it back home to my home, Kiorn.
I'm getting a distinct feeling that we probably should have not taken up the offer to come back toward. I think staying on the station would have been better.
But they would have gone, and everyone already said if you wanted to make some money, if you want to get off planet, this is how you do it. Join this group. Could run a couple of missions for them. At least that's what everyone on the planet was saying. That's what the advertisements were saying.
I'm not as great as they're saying. I'm just feeling like, in hindsight, it was a bad choice for both of us.
Why? I mean, we've seen things for the first time.
Hellhole?
No, I mean, look at the discoveries we've made already. We found a cave that gives you hope that you could stay there and live forever, while wrongfully sold. We saw salted lands turn into water in an ocean or a pond or a lake that the people here have never seen before. We saw a mountain become a spaceship and fly up in the sky.
Yeah, it's all miraculous things, but things probably better off not done around us. Do you know the amount of, however it was done, the amount of power involved to like if you're in the way of that when it happens, it's not good for your health.
You don't need to be in the way of it, but the opportunity to understand it, maybe to harvest it. I mean, if you could figure out why it's happening, and then maybe gather the resources and make that change for yourself, I mean, the ideas are limitless.
What would you do if you had a power like that? What would you do with it?
If I had the power to change matter, if I had the power to change land to water to ocean, well, first I'd bring him back to my clan, back on Kior, and maybe we wouldn't have to work so hard.
So you would help your clan with it?
Absolutely.
And if you didn't have a clan, what would you do with it?
But it remains to be seen. I mean, I guess I'd maybe make some ale.
I'll offer him my water canteen. He'll see my eyes glow again, and it won't be alcoholic, but it'll taste like beer.
What's the point?
Tastes good.
If I drink it, do I know it's not making me more drunk?
After a few, you might realize it, but the first one tastes just like beer.
I feel so hydrated.
Yeah, it's probably
really hydrating beer.
It's probably one of those feelings where it's like you think you're drinking it, but it hits your stomach different, right?
It's just soothing. It's actually making my stomach feel better.
Oh no!
Ironically, makes you feel worse.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna stick to the real stuff. Thank you, Cadin.
I tried.
All right.
Anything else you wanted to know?
Yeah, like, what's your, like, you're trying to get back to your clan, but what's your plan now? We're kind of stuck.
Well, I think I've got one option. Finish this mission, get off this planet, and I mean, I don't think I'm very discreet about it, but I keep asking people how they can get off the planet. So I think that's what I really want to do.
Well, I've gotten off the planet once before.
How'd you do that?
Not entirely legally.
Well, I've done some not so legal things myself in the days, but if I could not run from the authorities, I'd probably want to avoid that because, and I'd look down on my legs. Well, I'm not the fastest runner.
Well, you only have to run if you get caught. They hadn't caught me as of yet when we were on the station, and I don't know why the fuck I came back, but it felt like I needed to be here.
And why is that? I mean, so as far as I can tell, if you don't mind me asking, you've lived here all your life. I mean, it's a beautiful world, but you've seen it go to shit. And whenever we're here, you seem to defend certain aspects of the groups and people here. What do you want to see in Aurora Green?
Go back the way it was when I was a kid. It's gone to shit now. It's as I said, it's like a hellhole. Like, these storms ravage the surface, things change, people are running for their lives from these storms. It's just feels like everything's fallen apart.
We all have very pleasant memories of our childhood, Cadin, and I hate to be the one to tell you this, even if this whole world went back to the way it was and it looked the way you remember it, it still wouldn't feel the same.
No, but at least it wouldn't be this. People are literally dying. People have been pushed out of their homes, lost family. Like, the planet feels like it's dying.
I can't say I understand how the planet's feeling like you do, especially this one. But I do agree. I think Aurora Green has seen much better days. Well, I do think that's a noble cause. And if you could turn time around and bring this back to its healthy state that it once was, I hope you succeed.
I don't even know if it's possible.
Oh, come on. We saw land turn into water. I didn't think that was possible. You bring fire from your hands. I didn't think that was possible either. So, whatever you think is impossible,
more
I'm just saying, keep an open mind. And that's coming from me.
I need more power, better control if I want to do that. I don't even know how this works. He just kind of like motions his hands kind of futilely.
I put my hand on his shoulder. I look him straight in the eye. Or will help you understand.
Thanks, Sam.
All right. Well, Maxine, as the day begins to kind of dark, or no. Yeah. So on the sixth day, on the sixth day, as you guys are having conversations, Maxine, in the day as you are driving forward, noticing that your fuel supplies are starting to get a bit dangerously low. But before you can really voice that concern to the group, you spot something further ahead as something comes into view. Along the road, out in the distance, spires of crystal minerals.
Ooh.
Far in the distance.
Glowing again?
Your eyes didn't glow in the first place. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, my stone.
Oh, your stone. No, your stone does not start glowing again. Oh man, I got words for this later, dude. But up ahead, yeah, pillars. Many pillars as all around in the distance. Right now the image is kind of covered up in fog, but out there you see a variety of various buildings and structures. This one's a bit zoomed in. Ooh, but
pretty.
Up ahead is what appears to be what you can only guess to be Fontaine. And before we arrive proper, as it looks like you guys still have maybe a third of a day's worth of driving before you get down to the base of where those formations are, but already in the distance you're seeing kind of the buzzing of vehicles you see a flurry of objects in the sky up ahead. Occasionally, you see what appears to be a spaceship blasted off, heading out into orbit, out of the atmosphere. And along the roads leading, as you get closer, you begin to see more and more traffic as the occasional vehicle passes by, and other roads become apparent. And there seems to be a network of movement heading into and out of the place up ahead as you approach Fontaine. Before you arrive properly, though, close to Fontaine, as the road trip comes to an end, thank you to everyone out there for sticking through these 2 sessions, but it's your...
Can we turn the car around?
We're not going there. We're actually going to continue forward. But if you guys would like to have any other dialogue as part of this road trip, asking one another while you're in the car together, next time you guys will have this opportunity will probably be when you set off to the next major location. But any other questions you guys have been holding back? Now's probably the last time to do it.
Daario?
Yes, Sam.
I wanted to say, you seem pretty capable with machines. And, I'll admit, good at goals is very remedial, can barely fly. To be frank, the picture quality is pixelated and hard to differentiate between creatures and humanoids. It's amazing you're able to make this thing fly at all, given the shape.
How do I murder someone off the...
Huh? Questions? Oh, no. There are no questions. I just wanted to let you know these things.
Wow.
Just a backhanded compliment.
Wow.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, see, that's how friends are.
apparently.
That's who I call someone my friend in real life.
Oh. Well, anyone else have along the road trip? Again, you guys have been traveling for what seems to be 6 full days of travel. And on the 7th day is when you will finally arrive at your destination, Fontaine, up ahead. Party members, last chance. Any other thoughts for one another or questions you'd like to dive into? Else, you'll be entering the lines, or what's the word? The territory of Fontaine. Next time.
I do want to ask the group one more thing. Hey guys, I can't help but feel like whenever we go to a new group or planet, I always feel kind of called out. Are technicians not common here?
Oh no, well, at least not in Anderson.
I've drank with a couple, but yeah, you guys are pretty few and far between.
But surely you guys have heard of us, yeah? I mean, even for humans, I mean, you guys are young, yes? But, I mean, we met one of you eons ago, I think. His name was Walt. And we sent him back with the legends of our group. The 7 of them. Surely you've known of all 7 of them.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I knew they existed. I have never met one before.
Well, I think you guys probably don't know the name because most of our technician lore, it's kind of a tradition that we don't share the name, but rather we share their characteristics. I mean, you just haven't never heard of the tales of all the dwarves that came by with Walt?
No.
None of you. Daario? Maxine?
Blank stare on Dario's face.
You never heard a story of Sleepy and Happy and Grumpy? Bashful, Dopey, Sneezy, and Dog?
Dumbass.
So are you Snorri?
I wish. Man, the stories of him.
Wait, are you guys like real dwarves? Like from the fucking fairy tales and shit?
Fairy tales? These are real technicians we sent over. What do you mean fairy tales?
Koji's just got this like dumbfounded look on his face.
Oh,
Wait, you're not.
Everyone in favor of calling Sam's story now, raise their hand. Cadin puts his hand up.
oh, my only prime. If my great grandfather could have heard this, he'd be.
You're not just a little guy.
Little. I show you, I'm quite the average size.
But you're so small.
Listen, you're big. You're a big man. Even by your size, your measurements.
Yeah, but I just thought you guys were like short dudes. You're like
No,
a red dwarf.
I showed you.
The difference between a short dude and Sam is he's built like a brick shit house. You need see how broad he is?
I'm built like a brick shit house. What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah, you're not normal.
This guy, what?
I showed you. If you ever come to my home or build, you see plenty of people who look just like me.
Koji just kind of leans forward and puts his head in his hands, and he's having a visible crisis.
Man, dude, I was gonna say that's like the most emotion I've heard from Koji all campaign.
Yeah.
His world just got shattered. Oh my god. All right.
Literally the most emotion he showed.
Right, but I think with that, that's a weird place to it's a short stop. Okay, but I was like, I shouldn't do this.
Short stop,
Yeah,
nice.
but we're gonna conclude episode 14 of Horizon Exploration here on the road to Fontaine, with Fontaine in sight. Next episode. Episode 15 of Horizon Exploration, we'll see the party finally approach Fontaine and possibly enter the huge city metropolis on Aurora Green, one of the major hubs on this planet, which, funny enough, probably only one member of the group truly understands what Fontaine means to the planet, but that'll be next time on Horizon Exploration. Thank you, everybody. Party members, any closing remarks for
That was so fun.
Yeah, it was good. I gotta say, really love the conversations between the party members. I felt it. It was good. Loved it.
Oh, there's so many Dwarven legends I'm gonna bring out.
Man, I was like, where are you going with this? Is it called the Fellowship? Nope. Yeah, went with Sleeping Beauty. God damn it.
Oh, fuck it in hell. That's
Right.
what
Oh man. Well, you know, the technicians are here to embody various emotions, and yeah, it's we're gonna have to somehow work that into the lore, I guess. I'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. I'm down for it. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Enjoy your 4th of July, and well, I guess if you're in our Canadian brethren, hope you enjoyed your Canada Day, and for everyone else out there, be safe, be well. Until next time, as always, take it easy.
Have a safe holiday, everybody.
Yeah.